Welcome to the circus. I'm Johnny. Align with me for the good of the colony. I have talked about that before, and I'm not gonna explain about that. You're gonna just trust it when you're there. Let me tell you about this stuff. I want you to know, ultimately, the medical industry that we're into right now means that they don't care if you die or not. They value you being sick because it makes things easier for them to profit off of you. If you were never sick, they would never make $1. Everything is going to end at a certain point, but until the time is, I want to let you know you can limit what you get from this stuff going on. You can always support doctors online. They kind of it's complicated because the medical industry has ignored a lot of fat, um, black and brown, indigenous, and women, people, and queers that they don't even give a shit about. The most of their baseline of everything is a white man, and so most of the information we have for everyone else is limited. That's because of profit, and they don't really care since they've made everyone poor that's not a white man. Then they also don't care if you die, and they don't even care if they know how you're sick and how to profit that, because they also assume you're not going to have enough money to pay for whatever bullshit's happening with your body. That's going to change anyway in 2026 because it's the end of the empire, and that is 250 years of an empire. It's gonna happen no matter what. They already tried it with all of this, so they're gonna try and take away Medicare. That's fine because everyone's gonna be like, well, we're not gonna do anything. We're not gonna handle this, and you're gonna have to fix everything else. And then you're gonna have universal health care. I'm saying this in the end of August of 2025, so we still have however many months of this year and however months of 2026 until they give us a fucking universal health care. Because I the internet kind of gives us information, and you can't really be sure if it's true or not, and a lot of people have education and they do, but it's limited for what they're even talking about. I had been this is about the packets, the hydration packets that you put in your water, and it supposedly um gives you extra hydration in your body. I do not know if this is effective or not because I am poor, but I did hear them saying that, oh, you want your electrolytes in your water to make sure that your body does its thing the best it could. And I don't even know if that's true. I don't know about that. I figured, well, those shit always comes in salt. So my best bet is to go get iodized salt, because then I will just have a little bit of salt in my big ass water, and then I'm good to go, and it'll hydrate that. I went to the doctor because I had a bladder infection. Let me explain this to you what really happens. American food is very they many companies have lobbied that we can still have actually unhealthy stuff that isn't even a full food. Whole Foods was very limited, and they try and make things as processed as possible because it gives them the most money. Um, the things that preserve you the best is frozen versions of salt, versions of citric acid, and whatever else they fucking have. I don't even know all of this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an educator. I'm not an expert. I'm just letting you know because I got a bladder infection. Just trying to do this for the cheap way. Um, I think you're just the same way. Your liver, your kidney, they process everything out anyway. That you, unless you have a specific illness, your body is supposed to process this, and it does that as it is the way it is. So you don't need to how to say this. You don't need to amp it up for your body. I did try this. to amp it up my body, and it gave me a bladder infection. Um, I did not notice my bladder infection issue because I didn't notice based on my piss at all. So, as far as I'm noticing, I don't drink coffee very much. The coffee I would have had, it would be maybe every other week. So twice a month, and that's what's going to give me it? No, it won't. But it will give me if I'm taking salt every day, which technically you do get a certain amount of salt from the bottles of water bottle. That will have a little bit of salt. I don't know the percentage because I'm not a fucking chemist, so I don't know that. I used about, I want to say, at most a teaspoon of salt into my 64-ounce water. Um, that, when you think about electrolytes, you're only thinking about your water and you're ignoring what you actually eat for the most part. You've probably, oh God, I don't even remember his name, but there is this TikToker, the vet who is like, the disabled vet who has all these ideas. He's the medic and he knows all this shit. So he did tell us he doesn't even want you guys to, for the most of us, it's very limited to add electrolytes to your water because Americans have a lot of salt in everything. It's hard to even know that because guess what? I don't even use that much. I use a lot of very whole food because it's from the grocery, so I don't know about that. I still use farm foods all the time. I make a bunch of salads. I make yogurt. I eat my fruit. I eat my extra veggies if I have them. I eat a lot of very healthy stuff. Oh, you're fat. I don't give a shit. Some people have just a body who's fat. I eat a lot of very healthy food. I like tofu. It's a little bit easier for me to eat tofu because it's very standardized, that everything tastes the same. And I know what I'm cooking with that. And I can't always get that with meat. I'm autistic. So I like that. So I always have a healthier options for most of this stuff. I eat it a lot of snacks. Depends on if I'm doing it. I'm feeling not in the snacks these days. Um, Sometimes it would be like if I'm having those pretzels or those cheese balls. I loved those, but I've been limiting my weed, my edibles. So I haven't really needed the need for that. I have not been taking the edibles right now because I'm still taking antibiotic for my bladder. So I know the electrolytes you can get is from certain vegetables. Sometimes it's probably from fruits too, but I don't even know what that would be. I only know about lemon. Lemon is great for your water. That's an electrolyte. Uh, Cucumber is an electrolyte, and that's good for your water. But guess what? You could fucking eat that because did you know that your water comes down the same esophagus that goes into the stomach that you put for all your food? Yes, it does. So ultimately, you don't need to try and do the electrolytes. You could probably just eat more veg. That's the straight up most of it. Because actually, I didn't need to amp this up. I was just annoyed for pissing as often as I was. Which is probably just straight up because my body is optimized because I eat a lot of vegetables. So if I'm pissing a lot, it's because my body is releasing toxins so regularly that it barely even needs water. But I get thirsty because I'm in the South. So it's very sweaty, right? That's still good, and you always want to do that to make sure you have the option of that. The food that you're eating should be what you're processing as the first and foremost, that which you're hoping for your electrolytes. It might be different based on if you're looking for. I wouldn't even try on the hydration packets because I know that shit has sodium. So, and I know that American food has a lot of that. Probably, I'm not going to say a specific company that has this hydration packets. This is an umbrella. I am anticipating that if you have more people doing this, because I'm seeing it on my TV that I have ads for that, then it means they're going to spend a lot of money on that. And the more they spend on that, the easier they can handle from the lawsuit that they will get from your bladder. It will probably be a class action and you won't make that much money. You will just have a bladder infection. And it could be worse because I don't know, this took me months of this and it did fuck me over. I had to get an antibiotic, which I resist antibiotics because I know you can create super bacteria and all that, but that's fine. I messed it up for myself. This is my ADHD, so you're just hearing as it goes. Um, the possibility of the hydration packets is it could be effective based on the electrolytes. I do not know the, well, I guess that's complicated because I know I have cucumber like probably twice a week. I have kiwis like probably every other day. I have vegetable fruits, at least a fruit one a day, and then whatever salad I have for dinner. I have my yogurt. I have things that are there for my body. So I anticipate that I do actually take a lot of electrolytes based on fucking vegetables. So even if if the hydration packet helps you, it would be if you do not take very much veggies. This is a replacement of literally living as a human. So once again, because the industry is for you to ultimately be sick, so that you can pay stuff. That's why they make sure that you're very used to fast food, and that's all preservatives for life, and like you just don't have enough whole foods. And so if they're anticipating that your ass doesn't have veggies, then it's supportive for you. But if you eat vegetables, if you eat salads, it's more of going to be interact with your body that's going to be negative than you're anticipating. Because I did, and this fucked me over a lot. I'll explain my bladder in a second. The more, so if you don't have a sense of, uh, I don't know, don't even try on the hydration packet. If people who take that who are already healthy, they are gonna affect their body more than you anticipate, and then they're gonna get a lawsuit in like 2 years, 3 years later, and then it's just gonna be class action, and they're gonna try and say like you give you $20. So you're gonna get $20 for having a bladder infection. And that's not even gonna help you get used to the habits of eating good shit. Because they don't even want you to have good habits in American Empire because they want to make money for you to be sick. So that's that. So I know I always used a little bit of salt. Um I eat all this vegetables. I don't eat that much coffee. I don't have coffee that often because I stopped having it as often. I didn't want to be addicted to caffeine, and then I also let go of the idea of only needed productivity, and I'm resisting that for the limiting the ADHD. I'm trying to support the ADHD and autism entirely, and that doesn't work in capitalism. It's not possible. It's not the way things are supposed to be. It's supposed to be you accommodate for yourself and you figure shit out for your little life. The I was like, I'm already healthy and I piss a lot. I didn't know that I was pissing because my body is already optimized for flushing out shit out. I was like, well, I might as well do this because then I'm gonna have to piss less. This will be great. No, that just means that it's going to accumulate in your body because it's not going to know how to process this. It's going to make things process worse. And this is I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you that I have a bladder infection. Um, it was going every day that I would always use a little salt because I liked it. I was like, iodine is good for you. We barely have it. I'll go ahead and have that. It's good for me to process better. It's a scam a little bit. I don't eat fast food very often. I get it maybe once a month, and then like even then I always regret it. So I don't want to have to, yeah, I don't know. I was not understanding what things were going. A lot of the times for when you learn stuff, you kind of have to learn stuff when you suffer. A lot of people don't know what's going on until they make their mistake, and that's okay. That's the way we live our life, right? I'm just letting you know because it's not going to be worth it to get the class action, but they will when they anticipate that. I won't be able to be in that class action because I'd never paid a damn thing. I just heard it from internet and I was like, I'll try it myself because I figured these bitches have sodium. They have a shitload of salt in it, so why do I need the electrolyte shit? I'll just do that and it'll do it immediately. Has fucked me over. So it had made me have a very my bladder would hold the water a lot, and when it's too full and it's not processing well, not pissing properly, then it does start to accumulate around the body. I already retain water because it's the summer in the south, and it means it gets so humid that it's almost impossible to sweat as much, and everything sucks. I always go outside every day, almost every day, because I take my dog to the garden. It's my cat actually. I walk my cat, and then we go to the garden. So I do sweat a lot. Um, but most of that means that your body anticipates you will sweat a lot. It will retain water for you for the summer. I'm just fat also. That is okay, and I'm happy with being a little bit thick. I'm cool with that, bitch. The um the water can accumulate in different other parts of your body. It always will the bladder because I didn't notice any issues with my UTI at all. Let me tell you about that in a second. But I also felt my tits still hurt. They're sore, and there's a little too much. That I thought I had lumps. I do not have lumps. I got a Pap smear. I got a bladder test, a piss test, and I got um someone checking out my organs, and everything looks fine. I probably do not have any cancer whatsoever. I anticipated that I would because I also took Depo shots for about 2 years, and I'm autistic, so I anticipated that I would have worse of a hormone issues than the average person, but it might not be the case because it's only 2 years. The the water, the salt water has still kept in my breast because it's the last of it. It's still processing my bladder. And I know that it's nothing from some outside bacteria in my body because I did not have any UTI whatsoever. I have a I have a bidet addition to my toilet, and I do that when I shit, and it gets kind of everywhere. So I anticipated that it would have given me a UTI there and created it there, but no, nothing was itchy. It was never the pain of pissing, and there was absolutely no bleeding from the piss. So there's no issue from my UTI whatsoever. Everything has only been the bladder itself, and guess what happens? If it's not from an outside bacteria, it's straight up what I have in my body. It's because it comes from my kidney, my liver, whatever is doing for my water. It comes in here, and they're like, we don't even know what we're doing here. I got too much of that shit. I usually do well, but this bitch is putting shit in there. And here you go, bladder. You're gonna have to figure this out. So it's been inflamed, and then that's why everything fucking hurt. and that's why it's spreaded everywhere. It's my breast and whatever. So I'm only taking I am only taking the filtered water from at home, and I don't use any salt, and I already know the way things are going. That's the last of it. So ultimately, the life hacks that you have online is supposed to be something you don't even listen to it, because anyone who has a knowledge for the industry, if they're American, they have a limited education, because they still it's I don't know how much they're wanting you to know versus what the entire industry wants for people to be sick about, okay? And I don't want to say that industries are dumb. I mean, sorry. I didn't want to mean that doctors are dumb. It just means that the industry has quote status quo that they want for everything, and people are supposed to be a little bit sick so that we make money, because the billionaires who own this shit. So a doctor will have knowledge, and whatever we know from our education is limited based on what people decide. We already know that from our history. Everything there is limited based on our government, right? So ultimately, what you know has to come with a grain of salt, not your water, because you have to figure out what's going on. I always feel safe about knowing stuff about Asian, Chinese medicine, and for straight up the indigenous people of America. The Native American knowledge is going to be better than you will get for the modern technology. I'm just referring for that. If you have other issues that will need surgery, will need whatever, you're still going to need that from a doctor. But if you still have, oh, here's can affect this, you can always try that, because apparently in America, the surgeries take months and years. So you might as well sit and wait until they get to your shit, and you can try stuff with Chinese medicine and native medicines, because that will at least either delay it or will eradicate it itself. So I get that people have a lot of knowledge on the internet, and I don't know. I learned this from somebody who's like, "You need electrolytes," and then they are probably just saying that based on the masses. And for Americans, the masses do not have enough vegetables, so that'll be that. And if you do have a lot of vegetables, if you do have a lot of salad, if you don't have very much preservatives, then you don't want to touch a damn thing, because you're pretty much getting to the whole of everything, man. So the medicine, the for like herbology, whatever, has already been here for a very long time, as things has been domesticated for weeds, for plants, for animals, everything. We have figured it out for so many years that you don't want to be synthesized medicine than you should for what they have already in the planet. Especially because you're American, you should want to focus on the native medicine people who already know that shit. Because you live in America, they're gonna know it better than anyone else. Anyone else. I don't know shit. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you they might fuck you over. Like I did, just trying to figure out what they were doing for a cheaper option. Um Eat vegetables, figure out garden, all that type of stuff, get to all that stuff. So yeah, that's how it is. I'm almost done with my antibiotic, and then I'm just drinking the way I usually do, and I'll see how it goes based on that. So, thanks for listening. I'm a communist. I'm a resistant. I'm based of the entire society. If you want to listen to all the shit I have to say, I suggest you subscribe and you put me on notif, because I will be shadow banned and I anticipate this. I don't have a website yet. I haven't studied coding, and eventually I will be able to have you support me there. until now, put that on, Belle. So I'll see you later.